Welcome to an episode of Spicy Ones.
We started Gem, and in the early days, we were actually called Zen Sourcer, where that's all we did. But we knew from the beginning we would be so much more than just sourcing. We are now the only AI-first all-in-one recruiting platform. I'm crying now. And so that combines sourcing, CRM, marketing capabilities, analytics, but it also a really best-in-class ATS, scheduling automation, similar to like a Good Time or a Modern Loop.
Can't feel my lips, but you know what?
Your lips, my whole mouth is on fire. And now a bunch of new AI products, including AI sourcing on top of 650 million profiles.
This is gonna get spicy and really quick.
What's up, fam? I'm out here with Jeremy Lyons at the Gem headquarters in San Francisco. What's up, dude?
Nothing much, man. What are we talking about today?
We're talking about spicy takes in the recruiting industry. We're about to sit down with Steve Bartell, CEO of Gem. What have you got teed up for this afternoon?
You know, I think what I've got teed up for this afternoon is certainly a number of questions about the product itself, but I think let's dive a little bit deeper. Let's get into what makes rec tech. And where are we going with this? That's not just talk, but actual, the thought behind the madness.
Well, some of the madness you've been accountable to online with these pepper ghost ratings of Ghost Peppers, Carolina Reaper. Where does this all come from? What's going on inside of that head of yours?
You know what? A lot of people might think that it came from Hot Ones. To be real honest, I had never actually seen an episode of Hot Ones. It was just clips. But at the time when I started doing it, which was going on about 2.5 years ago, a lot of people just were saying, hot take this, hot take that, hot take this. And the problem when you group everything together is that it all starts to sound the exact same and you don't really know the angle that somebody was going for. And so I decided to break from convention. As a former teacher, I thought, all right, you know what? I'm going to use my platform to try and teach people a thing or two. So maybe the culinary experts would get involved. And I thought, okay, I'll rate it. And the spicier it gets is the spicier I want people to believe that it is. And you know what? If you're only tuning in for those really spicy ones, then you'll know. And if you're just sort of there for along for the ride, then I figured, the lower spicy ones are not going to set people off.
Well, you are certainly one of my ride or dies. I'm excited to get to know you through this series. Should we take this thing on the road this year?
I think we take it on the road and we give the people what they want. So submit questions, tell us who you think we should talk to, and we will have them in.
Stay spicy, fam.
Welcome to an episode of Spicy Ones, the not so loosely parodied version of Hot Ones, but in this case, we're talking about recruiting and recruiting tech. Our guest today probably needs no introduction, but I'm going to let him do one anyway. Steve Bartell.
Hey, folks. Yeah, good to see you. Excited to be on Spicy Ones.
Hey, there we go. And he's a gem of a human being. Just so happens he happens to be running a company called Gem. So let's lead into this. A lot of rec tech, lots of things talking about that. Let's go back to the basics here. Recruiting, you often hear recruiting is sales. Agree, disagree?
Agreed. Yes, recruiting is sales. Although maybe let me offer up one difference that I think is notable.
You've got the floor. Go for it.
So unlike in sales where, and this isn't entirely true, but unlike in sales where you're like, yeah, I'll pretty much take any revenue I can get. You definitely want to qualify some out. I think in recruiting, probably the biggest difference is that you care a lot more about understanding the candidate's qualifications than in sales. Qualification is key in both, but I'd say it's even more important in recruiting.
And you got your start in sales, correct? Because yeah, right?
A little bit. I mean, I come up through engineering, but
right.
I did all the sales for Gem in the early days. And so I was salesperson number one, still to this day. I'm spending as much time as I can with customers and prospects. And it's the favorite part of my job is just to get to work with folks from the industry.
Well, I mean, you get to talk to the people. And
yeah.
You get to find out from the people what they're looking for. And I mean, certainly one of the things you've talked about openly has been rebuilding Gem.
Yeah.
And you started out probably mainly as like a sourcing platform, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then you added on the analytics component when that started to become more and more important to people.
Yep.
And now you've gone back to the drawing board. You've rebuilt it AI first. Tell people a little bit about that. Like what leads you to go that way? And in just kind of in your thinking? And did you wake up one morning and just sort of say, you know what, I see it going this way, and we got to go back to the drawing board and rebuild it all?
Yeah, absolutely. But before we jump into that, what are we doing with all these wings and hot sauce?
Well, we will get into that.
Oh,
And right now, I'm just waiting to see how long does it take before you want to eat a wing, but how long does it take for the spice to hit your nose? Because this is going to get spicy and really quick.
yeah, absolutely. Well, um, we started Jam, and in the early days, we were actually called Zen Sourcer. So it's like an
Right.
adage to the old sourcing days where that's all we did. But we knew from the beginning we would be so much more than just sourcing, and uh, we very quickly realized that the ATS wasn't doing a great job of helping you with passive talent, and so that led us to go build the industry's best recruiting CRM. And then we also very quickly realized that a lot of recruiting teams were stuck in spreadsheets for their analytics, and so we layered on full funnel analytics that took everything that's happening at the top of the funnel and merged that data with everything in your ATS. So you could, for the first time ever, piece together the entire candidate journey all the way from outreach to offer out. And so that was Gem for a while. We layered on some talent marketing capabilities to help with recruiting events, branded email campaigns, talent communities, forums, but very much focused on the top of the funnel um, and helping get the right talent into your pipeline. But over the last few years, Gem has evolved a ton. We are now the only AI first all in one recruiting platform. And so that combines sourcing, CRM, obviously all the talent marketing capabilities that we've always had, analytics, but it also adds in a really best in class ATS scheduling automation, similar to like a Good Time or a Modern Move. And now a bunch of new AI products, including AI sourcing on top of 650 million profiles.
Wow.
That can help replace your LinkedIn seats.
Yeah. No, that's a big thing. Now, more important question here.
Yeah.
Are you more of a flats guy, or are you drumsticks or flats?
Oh, I'm drumsticks.
All right.
Yeah.
So start off with a drumstick here.
Yep.
You know what? What we got here, looking right out the fridge, is this yellow bird habanero hot sauce.
Amazing.
I'm gonna give you a little bit of that.
Yeah, layer it on. This one's good. This is one of my favorites, and it's also not too hot yet.
Perfect, because
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more of a flats guy.
Oh, that's great.
So
We'll
we got that.
divide and conquer here.
Divide and conquer.
Cheers.
Cheers. Um, go where it goes.
Mm.
So one of the things I was kind of thinking about and asking you, the flats versus the drumsticks. And you've talked a lot about outreach messages and the personalization of outreach messages. What sort of outreach message do you think you'd write to, for drumsticks or a flat?
What outreach messages would I write to a drumstick or a flat? I saw your experience in running around the farm, and it led me to believe you'd be a delicious chicken wing.
You know what? Look, I think that that's a fun way to take it, because is more to the recruiting space than just tech. There are other industries in the S&P and all of that, so it's good to branch out and try and write an outreach message to a chicken, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me of, oh my God, it actually reminds me of this meme I saw on Instagram, this recruiting meme, really funny meme.
Yep.
And it was candidates walking in to a new job without having researched the company. And it was these chickens that were walking into a Chick-fil-A store.
Oh, no.
But I think it does underscore the importance of really researching your opportunities. I think it was spot on. But nice tie back to what we were just talking about there. And also the importance of having towels. Thank you.
I part of me thought hey, towels may be a good idea, but also how long can we hold our hands in that one kind of position before just looks really, really, really awkward.
Okay, so I've never put hot sauce on a chicken wing. It is a little spicier that way.
It is, and considering these are already spiced,
Yep.
spiced wings, so this is gonna get real fun real quick. To set your mouth on fire though a little bit, one of the things that you talked about with AI first, and big proponent of AI first, um, a lot of conversations that people have where they're worried that the AI is going to make a decision for them. For you, looking at all the different data inputs that your AI is having and all of those things, what are you looking at or what do you do when you disagree with the connection or with what the AI is recommending to you? How do you disagree with it? How have you seen that be effective in terms of building out the product a little bit?
Yeah, so I think that's super important. My take on AI is that uh, AI should enable, not replace
Yep.
recruiters. And um, I think that it's really important that recruiters be able to maintain control and for AI to be more of a co-pilot, making recommendations. But the ultimate decision, especially as it relates to hiring decisions, but I'd say that's even across the board, just because I think that's how AI works best, is for it to be more of a co-pilot model.
Yeah.
The cool thing about AI these days, though, is with generative AI, recruiters have more visibility than ever into the decisions that are being made because you can literally ask the AI to explain itself and show that to the end user. So it's no longer a black box.
Sure.
The other cool thing about AI these days is you can give recruiters a lot more control by allowing them to have some input into the prompting itself.
Yeah.
And so when we think about the AI products we build at Gem, for AI sourcing, for AI-powered app review to rank your applicants, for rediscovery on top of your ATS, on top of your CRM, a core part of that is allowing recruiters full control over the 5 to 10 critical criteria for that role.
Yep.
And then the AI is using that as the key input into how it ranks. And so when you have visibility into why AI is making the decisions it is, and then control into how to fine tune the AI, it creates this virtuous feedback cycle of being able to calibrate it and get it better in the same way that you might like a junior sourcer.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
So I see another drumstick right there. I'm gonna give that to you.
Excellent.
And
Which one are we doing next?
we're gonna do this habanero one, another habanero.
Perfect.
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna do it. It looks a little bit spicier than the last one. Um, and while I'm doing this, there is something that I've been having a lot of conversations, especially in the rec ops space.
Yep.
About
Give me more. Yeah.
yeah,
There we go.
yeah, there we go. Now it's pouring. Where generative AI at the current state that it's in operates really well when you are far more detailed and
Yes.
very pedantic and and you want to sort of cover all the edge cases.
Yeah.
Recruiters are not known for their attention to detail.
Mm. Yeah.
So when it comes to it, I mean, how are you explaining to people that they need to actually let's call it for what it is, a blow in the cartridge type moment for how they're using the technology to sort of hit that reset button and really kind of get into the more detailed line of thinking that they're going to need to have if they're really going to maximize what you're offering in the tool? Or even how are you looking at it knowing recruiters are not the most detailed and building that into the back end to sort of help them?
That's a really astute point and question. So AI these days, the more data you feed it, like the better it performs. And so, but that does leave a lot of control to the end user and to recruiters and sourcers, and it means that the the burden is kind of high on like having the right prompting. When we first rolled out AI sourcing, for example, we found that the folks that were like really good at writing clear, detailed, objective criteria that you could tell from somebody's resume were seeing amazing results. But like a lot of people aren't yet AI fluent and they don't know how to do that. And so we realized very quickly that we can't put that onus on the end user, on the recruiter, I got to build the right guardrails into the product. Also, it's getting spicy.
Yeah.
And so we did a bunch of things. The first is like you can actually ask AI, is this a good criteria according to these principles, and give recruiters feedback on better criteria. And so we very quickly built that in to prevent bias, for example.
Sure.
And even just passed in the entire EOC guidelines and said, does this criteria introduce any risk of adding bias to the evaluation process? We did it for a different check for making sure that criteria could actually be evaluated by looking at somebody's resume instead of more of a qualitative interview.
Yeah.
So like strong communicator or strong communication skills, for example, hard to tell from somebody's LinkedIn profile.
Sure.
Maybe if they have a bunch of typos on their resume that could indicate it, but like at a glance, AI is not going to be great at teasing that out from your average resume. And so we have checks for that. But then the other thing we did is we built inputs into the entire process to really encourage recruiters to provide more information. And one of the key things that we found dramatically improve the results of AI for our customers is if somebody just pastes in their intake doc from a hiring manager in that session, because most teams are like, either they've got their own personal notes instead of just relying on the job description.
Yeah.
Because the intake doc includes a lot of information about what great looks like,
Yeah.
not just minimum requirements. And so once we started getting recruiters to paste in their entire intake doc and ask AI to help generate criteria using our best practices based on job description plus intake doc, people started to see much better results.
Well, and I mean, you bring up a really good point there, though. It's like people have to have that intake doc in order to get there. And how many times has you as a hiring manager been like, you go into it going, you know what, just we've hired for this role 100 times before. I don't just use the last one. And you're like, and you as the recruiter, most recruiters might go, okay, cool, we're going to use the last one. But that now you've hired people in. So the skills and the things you were looking for the first time might not necessarily be the skills and the things you're looking for the second time.
Yeah.
And now and throughout those meetings, you're going to bring in new information, or you'll bring through the first couple of candidates and you're like, oh, you know what? No, I already have a Steve. I already got a Jeremy. I need somebody else.
Totally. Well, I mean, that's really smart. The other thing I forgot to mention is we actually, as the AI is starting to surface candidates, and if you're saying no to too many, we'll start to prompt you for why. And we'll start to prompt you we'll even have a bunch of auto-suggested pills that you can one click.
Okay.
Was it their experience? Was it their company's not a good fit? Was it their education isn't a good fit? Like which specific parts of their background? And then a free-form text. And so when you gather feedback in real time from recruiters as they're using the AI, then the AI can like get better and calibrate itself.
Sure.
But I mean, I think like going back to your original point around blowing off the cartridge, I think now more than ever, it's important to take the time to get really specific about what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Not only does that make the AI better, but also like it's going to improve your job descriptions. You're going to get less, flood of applicants, folks that might not even be the best fit in the first place. If you're more specific about like what you're looking for, which a lot of companies are dealing with because you're just flooded with so many applicants today.
Yeah, no, totally. What gave us this crazy idea? I'm going to hit you with this chili maple.
Ooh,
This Hot Ones chili maple.
that sounds delish.
Woo.
Well, we're going for this
Or yeah, I don't know, as that came out a lot faster.
If you dig right there, you might actually this one right there. Yeah, there we go.
All right. So what does HR do and what does recruiting do? And we're oftentimes, I'll call it a step family type relationship where the company, slammed the two of you together and said, cool, you're one department now. And there's a lot of people in HR who say, well, yeah, but I help the teams talent map and I help the teams do this. And then you go and you actually have a conversation. It's really the recruiters having that conversation.
Yeah.
So which do you think is going to disappear first? Or do you think that there's going to be something else that's going to emerge that by a different name?
It's a great question. So I don't think those are going to merge. I think that recruiting is so fundamentally different from HR. And it's so important. Both are really important. And, I imagine that some of the question behind the question is which one's going to disappear first because AI is going to replace one or part or enable somebody to do both. And I just don't see that happening. Both because I think the jobs are fundamentally different, but also because I don't see AI replacing HR or recruiting professionals anytime soon. I do see the job evolving, and I do see recruiters who don't adopt AI, who don't become AI fluent, getting replaced by the ones that do. But I don't see AI fully replacing recruiters anytime soon or at all.
So I'm going to put some words in your mouth, but before I do that, I'm also going to put a little bit of more spice. I'm going to hit you with this sriracha.
Classic.
Classic sriracha. They're going to evolve differently was something the response that you gave. But
Yep.
Arguably, HR has more of a book. There are laws. There are a little bit more binary type decisions that people in HR would like to explain as gray. Recruiting changes every single time. So if that's the case, does that change your answer at all?
Nope. I think both roles are gonna require a tremendous amount of human judgment. I don't see that going away, at least anytime soon. Yeah, I'm gonna stand by this.
All right.
AI is not replacing either.
All right. Cheers to that.
Cheers.
So obviously when you're building something from the ground up or rethinking it, you're not going to get everything right.
Yeah.
You're going to get a lot right, but there are going to be those edge cases you're not going to have even thought about or considered. So what are 3 things right now within the GEM product that you think, just you look at them and you're just a little bit like, it's just not there yet. You're a little disappointed in them.
Yeah. I'll share one that we've fixed, and then I'm going to share. I'll think of. I've got one more top of mind. I'll think of one more. So the one that we fixed is when we started building AI products. And this was like really early in the journey of making Gen AI first. We started with like an approach that was just an open-ended text box. Tell us what you're looking for. And what we found is that put way too much burden on the end user to like know what to write. What we also found is that if that didn't map perfectly to filters, for example, to narrow down the 650 million plus public profiles, that you could end up with these like searches where under the hood, like, you're translating what somebody's looking for into filters to narrow down the space. And you'd end up with like a talent pool of 5 people, for example, if the AI messed something up, or a talent pool that was 200,000 people. And now like the AI is trying to rank one by one across like hundreds of thousands of profiles. And that doesn't work either. And so we were not seeing good results with our AI. And this was live with customers, our early like alpha customers, not in GA, not even in beta, but this was live with customers. And we were banging our head against this approach for like 3 months before we realized, oh, we need a fundamentally different approach. And that the right model combines some of the, search functionality of like a LinkedIn, with like the ranking power of the new generative AI. And so we ended up in this like hybrid approach. And now we actually can auto-generate a bunch of the filters for you based on your job description, based on your spot doc, and save you the time of setting up that search. But then we'll flag talent pool too small or talent pool too big. And then the recruiter can go in and figure out the right way to broaden or narrow the talent pool. But that was like a huge problem with our AI sourcing product for a long time in our approach. Cause like inevitably when you're building something new, you're gonna mess up. The current part of our product that I think needs the most love and that we're actively working on, but I'm just like, I can't wait for it to get there, is the scheduling. And we acquired an awesome company, Interview Planner. But I think we underestimated the amount of work that it takes to like fully integrate that product. And so right now it's a disjointed experience where it's a super powerful product, but it's not embedded into the rest of the Gem platform. And customers are constantly asking us, like, when I click schedule, why do I have to go into a different tab? But I'm super excited because in about a month, all that's going to be fixed.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But it's still, yeah,
It's
it irks me.
It irks you.
Yeah.
It irks you. Well,
It irks me.
and I want to, as you're adding features, obviously your competition is adding features. I want to give you, looks like we have another habanero. So I'm going to ditch that habanero. I'm going to take this up to, your ghost pepper style. And I'll make sure this one's open. Okay. This one's going to come right out. So I'm going to make sure I don't kill you with this. But, what are some things that you admire in your competition?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Or the features that maybe they're building, or just, take it for the direction that you want to take it for.
Yeah, one compliment per competitor.
One compliment per competitor, and they can be even people, that who you consider your competitors as well.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, we compete across so many different products, across so many different segments.
Yeah.
Because now we have, 10, 11 different products that you can conceivably buy as a point solution all in one platform. And so, yeah. And so I really admire and respect a lot of our competitors. Nobody's doing what Gem is doing in terms of bringing it all under one roof. We're building the only AI first all-in-one recruiting platform, but there's some things that our competitors do really well. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot of respect. So let's start with some of the new AI sourcing competitors.
Sure.
So Juicebox, great self-serve. Find him, really good at consolidating LinkedIn spend, getting, big deals.
Sure.
And so, I really respect Findham's ability to value sell and like communicate the ROI and value of being able to do that. And then really respect like the self-serve aspects of Juicebox. Scheduling, good time. I think they're great at scale and have strong analytics on top of your interviews. Modern Loop, really usable product. Not many people like their ATS. And so all right, let me say this.
And you can take a bite and let it burn in your mouth. Burn your what?
Buy me some time. All right, so ATS. I think I appreciate some of the simplicity of Greenhouse and that folks like understand how to use it, right? So they've built up like a great following of customers over a long period of time, people that are just really familiar with the platform. And I think that's super powerful. Makes it easy to like implement and have repeat buyers. Ashby, I admire their advanced analytics. Enterprise CRM competitors. Phenom and Beamery. I admire their go-to-market, their marketing and the sales. All right, we covered a lot. I mean, there's so many because we span so many markets. We can span so many different products, but hopefully that's a good taste.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great taste of kind of how you view it, who you view, and who you admire, and the good things that you do. Too. Let's take it back to a little bit of an engineering question. Before we throw in like maybe one or two more questions to close, which is, obviously testing your AI, testing how you build, things like that. And AI now, if it ostensibly is getting better, you're getting to the AGI section of things where it might not want to correct itself. How are you going and finding glitches or things like that, or aberrations in the ghosts in the system, if you will, before they leave the lab?
Yeah, that's a great question. So one of the most important things about the new AI world is testing as you're developing rapid improvements to actually make sure that it's improving things for the better. And it's complicated because users can kind of prompt a lot of different things. There's going to be edge cases in there. And so what the best companies do is they create what's called a golden data set. And they actually create a number of golden data sets that basically say, here's how a world-class recruiter or sourcer would rank the people they're sourcing or the people that they're reviewing. And every time you're improving the AI, you're trying to get the algorithm to line up as closely as possible to your golden data set. And there's like these whole like ways of measuring that in terms of like the area under a curve. I forget exactly what it's called, but I review these with our AI team every 2 weeks, because one of the big things we always care about is how can we get the very best match rate recommendations. And so we do a lot of that. And so not only do we test on golden data sets, but a lot of people working on the AI team are building out more golden data sets because it's also a really good way to get an intuition for how the AI works.
Sure.
To be building the data sets that feed into the testing. The other thing we do, though, is we have all this data. We have so much data on who actually gets advanced or rejected. We have so much data on who gets hired. Thousands of Gem customers, millions of hires across all of them. And so we're able to test on all of that data at scale, beyond just the golden data sets.
Yeah. And this is kind of maybe me humanizing AI a little bit, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. Do you find that when you are working on editing that, yeah, I think we're going to have some regrets after that. It's an extreme regret.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah. That's the one.
Is it? Anyway, responds better to positive encouragement, or does it respond better to, really going hard at it and telling him, you know what, you failed, no one's proud of you, kind of an angle?
AI does respond better to constructive feedback, constructive criticism. Now, I don't think anyone responds well to being called a piece of shit, but yeah, I think you need to tell AI where it can be doing better, and that's how it gets better.
Or maybe my high school football coach might have responded differently to that. Maybe. No, I mean, it's an interesting question to ask.
Oh my God.
Did you want another go of it? Because you're starting to show on your neck.
One more. Maybe. Let's do it. Let's. It's Amarillo Bang. Let's go with your easiest guy, as big as we can on this one. We're not holding back. This is it. We're just
and that's why I'm gonna ask this one, which is, people think about recruiting as a cost center.
Yeah.
Are selling to usually the department in a company that gets told they have budget, then gets pulled from budget, gets told they have roles, gets told they get, at such a frequent way, and then gets on top of that, gets told, well, you're a cost center, you generate no revenue toward the company.
Yep.
I mean, what do you think about that? How do you respond to that? How do you respond to your own internal, recruiting team saying, hey, we need this, Seem to really be suffering with this. I don't know what's going on.
You stop wiping yours off.
Oh, okay. All right. Are we doing lines of habanero sauce later?
I think that's it for me.
I have cuts on my hands right now. This is just seeping right into my bloodstream.
Oh my God. Hot sauce by IV. See who stays plugged in.
Ed Sheeran, tell me when it kicks in.
Oh my God. Oh man. I think that recruiting is still thought of as a cost center at so many companies. People are the single most important thing that determines whether companies succeed or fail. And I think that's actually more important than ever, because every single company out there is trying to reinvent itself as an AI first company right now.
Yeah.
And to do that, they need the right talent. Many organizations don't have the right talent today because they weren't built in the last 2 years when Gen AI came onto the scene. And so a lot of folks are realizing they need new talent, specialized talent, and the recruiting teams are the ones that are bringing that talent in. And it's like kind of a live or die moment.
Yeah.
It's reinvent yourself as AI first or be left behind. And every single company, product, service today is having this existential moment where they need to reinvent themselves as an AI first product, company, or service, or be left behind. And so recruiting is more important than ever. And I think the companies that lean into that, prioritize recruiting and make it their competitive edge, are the ones that are going to unlock their AI first chapter twos. And the rest are going to fade into irrelevance.
Well, I mean, and, it's
Cool.
Gem Summit, Stephen Bartlett said something pretty similar to that too. I mean, you drive in from SFO now, and every ad is AI, 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 AI. So it is that.
All right, this is a bonus question. So why don't we both take a crack at this one?
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point in time, I mean, when does somebody's digital profile stop? Or actually, better yet, where does their digital tattoo end? Which is very, very interesting because, all of your devices have different IP addresses. And at a certain point during your teenage years, inevitably, you're going to be wanting to do what all of your friends do and be on technology and be involved. You're not going to want to be off the grid. I think coming off the grid is something you want when you get older and you start to realize, hey, I've made some mistakes or I've made some things like that. But I think that you actually kind of see that now. You see that more in executive recruiting. You don't necessarily, executive recruiting is not something that somebody is, going in immediately for a message. It's somebody reaching out and fostering that relationship and building that relationship over a very long period of time. Or even those top candidates are reaching out to folks like you and saying, you know what? Hey, I've seen this. I've dealt with this. I want to pitch myself to you. So there will always be some sort of digital signature if that's over email or anything like that. I think the heart of the question is what happens if something like LinkedIn goes away fully?
Yeah.
Or, all of those elements to things. Or, the AGI or the AI gets so good that it's digging up your live journal from long past when it was over and, your new thoughts are different and your profile is different. And now you're getting this maturity curve. So I don't know. I think that there will always be some element where candidates know that they're going to have to go to a watering hole. It's just, what's that watering hole going to be called? Is it going to be called GitHub, or is it going to be called LinkedIn, or is it going to be called Polywork or something else? So I think that that's where my thought stays, is that we're all stuck with our digital tattoos. It just depends on how much more you're going to want to expose versus not.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think that's why it's important to have technology that can search beyond LinkedIn.
Yep.
And so Gem already is alongside 50 plus different social sites, and our database of public profiles is only growing to include more sources over time. But there's outside of that, I think maybe the elephant in the room question is like, what happens if LinkedIn data goes away? What happens if they truly find a way to lock that down? I think there's a really interesting creative approach that we figured out, if that were to ever become the case. And I know we're running short on time. I'm probably not going to be able to go into the entire approach, but we have an answer for that if the time comes.
You've got that red button.
We do. We have a way to we definitely have a way. If LinkedIn, for example, decided to make public profile data completely locked down, we've got an answer to that.
I think that was the first new move. I decided I needed a new lip gloss, and that just turned into habanero spicy stuff. Or Carolina Reaper chili.
My nose is running. My nose is running. My nose is running. My eyes are crying. My face is sweating. My mouth is on fire.
There you go. Well, thank you again. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for having us in your office for this. And can't wait to hear what folks say. And anything you want to plug before we close out?
Now you're asking for the Gem plug. Oh,
I mean, we're not asking for the Gem plug, but it's
okay.
But it's, you have anything you want to pitch?
Yes.
Our own hot sauce brand, or
I wish that'd be so cool. No, if you haven't checked out the new Gem, you gotta. We've completely revealed the entire platform from the ground up to be the only AI first all-in-one recruiting platform. It's really amazing. Come check it out. And also, if you want to follow along and see more great stuff from me or the Gem team, feel free to connect on LinkedIn. I love connecting with more folks from the industry. Later, y'all. Later. Thank you.